I guess to start, we know that you started out in real estate from a little bit of research that we did. So, with that background in real estate, how did you make the leap into the restaurant industry?
Yeah, it's a good question. So, I was in real estate. I had a pretty good career. I was mostly happy, but at some point in time, I was just missing, a little bit of team bonding and making more impact. In real estate, I was more of an individual player. There wasn't too many people contributing to my team, and I was looking to do something that would be more meaningful, make an impact in the community, and create jobs around me. And I always just seen that void and lack of availability for the product that Pura Vida provides. So I decided to make that transition.
And what do you think is one of the biggest challenges you faced when switching careers?
The biggest challenges were really, my family and my friends telling me that I'm, out of my mind to go from real estate to the restaurant. The restaurant business is very difficult and challenging. Let alone breakfast, where is not a very profitable business. But I've seen the opportunity in the shift of people eating healthy. I was always keen on eating healthy and staying active, and I just saw what the future holds, and I bet on it.
Yeah. And how did you identify the gap in the market for Pure Vita, mostly in Miami? And did you have like any doubts whether it would succeed or not?
I basically just looked at my personal needs and what I was looking to eat and drink, and it was like a casual environment that just wasn't there. I don't know if I had doubts, but I certainly believed in it and I pursued it.
Yeah. And obviously Pure Vita expanded like exponentially super quick. What do you think was the key factor in Pure Vita's rapid success?
I think that it wasn't as quick as people think. Although you see more Pure Vita these days, for about 4 years there was only one location. We took our time to really build the infrastructure, and then for the first 3 years we opened one location a year, and then since then we started expanding a little faster. I think there's a few factors that took that contributed to the success. Obviously, operational excellence, the real estate we chose, but also the timing. During COVID, we took a lot of risk and we signed a lot of leases, and we decided to take a bet on Miami, and I think we made the right bet. So
for sure. And what do you think are the most important factors you consider when you choose new locations to expand Pure Vita into?
There's real estate is sort of art. I think location is important, but there's also an energy around it. I think we always focused on work, live, play environment where people work, live, and go out and hang out. And over time, we learned that's not the only way to be successful. There's other markets. But to me, it's been, coming from real estate, I had knowledge, so I kind of knew which neighborhood is up and coming, where people are going to be spending more time, and I think I just, capitalized on that knowledge, and then really my gut feeling was always the decision making more than the data when it comes to real estate. So me spending time looking at the sites, seeing how many people walking throughout the day, going multiple times of the day of the week, and making that ultimate decision, myself.
Yeah. And obviously Pure Vita is one of the biggest like health food restaurants in Miami. How do you think it differentiates itself from the other competitors? Like for example, at Ransom, there's a street with Carrot Express, Pure Vita, which is opening soon, hopefully, and Sweet Green. So what do you think what is unique about Pure Vita that led to its success?
I think there's many things, but if I could point out one thing that is different than what others trying to do is that Pure Vita is really, when you walk into our doors, it really transforms you to a place. It really feels like you're moving into a new place, and it allows you to think you're coming into a very clean environment. You trustworthy brand. You see like-minded people who believe in being active, who live the healthy and the wellness life, and it's it's what I call a lifestyle brand. You walk into this is just for the avocados, for the acai bowl, or for the salad, but it's really for who is around.
Yeah.
And I think that it's very hard to replicate the strength that the brand has and the trust that we have with our customers, because they know that no matter what they go, if they're in New York, if they're in California, they're in Miami, Coconut Grove, or in Miami Shores, or in Miami Beach, they're going to get the exact same product. It's very, very consistent, which has been a key factor for our success. We always focus on providing consistent customer service, consistent facility, and consistent food experience.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you think that wellness-focused restaurants like Pura Vida have had any role in shaping Miami's restaurant economy?
It's a great question. I think that we are definitely part of many other brands who've been here for the past few years that sort of put Miami on the map, and people look at us as sort of, go hand in hand with what Miami's been through with this exponential growth. I think it really was unintentional. It was very organic for us, but I'd like to think that we contributed to that movement. The fact that we're feeding hundreds of people throughout the day, and you clearly see them wearing Lululemon or Alo yoga pants, or working out, or our partnership with the Gym and Anatomy and all those initiatives. I think we're definitely contributing to it. So I guess the answer is yes.
And how do you see the future of this healthy eating lifestyle evolving, not just in Miami, but in multiple cities? Or how do you think?
Well, I think when you look at Miami or other coastal cities, that's where usually trend starts, and that's where they're more cutting edge, and then it usually transfer towards the middle of the country. And my hope is that, and I think where the future is that more and more people are going to, especially with social media and the information that flows to people's, phones and hands, people are a lot more aware of what they're consuming. They're willing to spend a little more money to get the right stuff, because they spend on the front end and on the back end with doctors and whatnot. So I think the future is, I think we're just scratching the surface. People are going to be more educated. They're going to make better decisions. So, whether it's, seed oil free environment, people just really not aware that eating, refined oils is really bad for you. I think that's something that's coming up. I believe that the future, people are going to just become healthier, more conscious about what they consume, and there's going to be trends that come in and out, but ultimately it's just eating, single ingredient food, which is what we focus on in Pura Vida. You eat, fruits, or you eat vegetables, or you eat chicken, not processed, and very easy to digest, and food that makes you feel good. You can, carry on with your day after you eat it.
Yeah.
So focusing on that future aspect, what's your vision for Pura Vida in the next 5 to 10 years, or even further?
I think that Pura Vida are really here to solve a problem, and the problem is that provide people with access to healthy food in a casual manner and on a consistent basis, no matter where they are throughout the day. And basically, our vision is to solve that problem for everyone throughout the country. So, we're starting in one market and entering future markets. So it's really, shape the way Americans eat, and instead of going to eat fast food, we want to have Pura Vida as an available product for them anywhere they go.
Yeah. And moving more into the leadership aspect, what do you think is the most valuable lesson you've learned as CEO of such a successful company?
I think listening to your team, listening to people around you, not thinking that you know the answer yourself. Stay humble, be consistent, and learn from your mistakes. Know to own them, and just move on to the next challenge and fix it. But ultimately, I would say that listening to people around you is something that goes a long way.
I know it's going to be on the spot and you don't have to answer it, but do you have an example of a mistake or something that's gone wrong and a way you were able to overcome it, or
many mistakes, right? We learn from our mistakes. Trying to think. I mean, look, when it comes to business deals, there's times where we walked away from certain locations that we thought that were too rich or too risky, and and uh, and they didn't pan out, and ended up being a mistake. But that's just how it is in business. You can't always make the right decisions. Um, yeah, let's think about it a little more.
Yeah, nice.
So at school, we're part of the Miami Venturing Entrepreneurs Club, where it's like basically a club where we learn about the business world and entrepreneurship. So, what advice would you give to young entrepreneurs like those in our club looking to start maybe their own business in the future?
What I would say is that what you want to focus on first is solving a problem. Don't just think about, just talk about what is the problem that you're trying to solve, and are you going to get, satisfied doing so. And I think if you can find a problem that you are willing to solve for others, and you're actually going to get to enjoy it, and enjoying it meaning doing the work, hiring people, building a community around it, whatever that might be, I think that would be my advice to anyone. If they can do that, they're probably going to be successful. If you do it just to the idea of making money, it's probably going to be very hard for you to be successful and succeed.
I feel like nowadays everyone has an idea. They're like, I see this problem, I want to solve it, but they kind of don't know where to start. How did you, obviously you had a passion for healthy eating and this lifestyle, but how did you kind of
Begin.
get a jump start?
Yeah, so I think that that's the thing about most of us. We have a lot of great ideas, but we don't act on them. What I would say is that just get out there and get going on your idea. So even if you don't have the means and the ability to do so, start talking to people about it, ask questions, and one thing lead to another. Attend certain events, attend functions that are around your idea, and talk to people, and then one thing lead to another. One thing that I've learned through my experience is that if you put yourself out there, and you just wherever you go and you talk to people, one thing lead to another, and then eventually you can start developing your idea through your network, through your relationships, and if you just stay at home or you just think about it and you don't put it out there, it's less unlikely to happen. So take action.
Yes.
Basing on taking action from that moment where you had the idea this is what I'm gonna start to maybe your first restaurant opening. Do you know how long that took approximately?
It's a good question. So for me, the story was a little different because I ended up buying the first restaurant that was existing, and then I converted it to what it is today.
Yeah.
But it was, I would say, it took about a year for me to sort of, from the moment I felt that's what I wanted to do to the moment of getting executing.
Right.
And when do you think you had that realization, I made it moment, that you realized, oh, I've actually made an impact on our community?
I think that I don't walk around thinking I made it. I think that every day is a new challenge. I wake up every morning thinking no one's going to show up to my restaurants. And that's why I always, remind my team that you're only as good as your last meal. I'm not the guy who is signing anyone checks, but the guests are. So if they walk into our restaurants and we don't smile to them and make the perfect cup of coffee and make sure everything is perfect, then none of us have a job. If there's a moment where I feel really good about myself is when I see my team advance and excel, and create and get promoted within the company, or putting their kids through college. That's to me the moments that really makes me happy. And I think that going back to what lesson you learn as being a CEO, be consistent, stay humble, and just focus on the job is what's going to get you ultimately to continue to succeed. And the success to me is just seeing that growth amongst my team.
Yeah. I mean, basically for our club, we have a conference in 2 weeks, and we were tasked to pick a topic. The theme is Future Miami, and we were given a list of topics, economic ones, in Miami, but we also could make up one. So we both are super passionate about like healthy eating,
Fitness,
life,
all of those
that
things.
And I hear you
lifestyle.
also play rackets. You play tennis?
I play tennis, yeah. But anyways, we love doing that. So we decided to make our presentation about that. And it's about like how healthy living in terms of food, fitness,
And even
real
buildings,
estate.
because like now where you like live, there's so much wellness being integrated into that.
Mm-hmm.
So
So that's what our poster is about, and the whole food section is actually about Pure Vida and all the healthy food restaurants. So we were like, this would be the perfect interview for our research thing.
Well, I'm honored that you guys picked the health and wellness subject, and that I would be, something that is, inspiring or would contribute to your project. And I really appreciate you guys thinking about us, and the fact that you love Pure Vida is this is the aha
Love.
moment.
love.
And now we have all these friends in New York. They're obsessed with Pure Vida. They had no idea what it was. When did it open? The one
So
in
the
New
first
York?
one opened in the summer of last year, and then we opened in January the
In
one in
Brooklyn,
Brooklyn,
right?
and
Yeah.
then last week we just opened Bleecker, which is
Oh,
like
yeah.
down.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Relocation.
Well, you're spreading to our New York friends because they're obsessed with it now.
I'm so glad to hear
And
that.
it's becoming very, very popular.
Good,
but-
awesome. Well,
We're big
if
fans.
there's anything I can do to help you or your classmates with their with any, maybe in the future with their entrepreneurship journey, please keep me in
That'd be
mind.
amazing.
I'm happy to pay it forward
Thank you.
and support the young generation ahead. And you two are lovely young ladies, very smart. You're 13 or 14?
15.
15. I mean, it's unbelievable. I have a daughter. She's 13, so
Oh.
I see the similarities. It's inspiring to see that you guys are already thinking in that direction, and that you're recognizing a sector that has so much legs, not
Yeah.
just in food, but health and wellness in general.
Mhm.
And take action, stay active, be humble, put the work in.
Mhm.
Problem is most people don't want to put the work.
Yeah.
And if you put the work, you're already step ahead from most people.
Yeah.
So, good luck.
Well, thank you so
Thank
much
you
for
so
your
much.
time. This was so helpful.
We really, really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Do you guys want a picture?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
Wait, let me.